February 10th, and the Hayshed is 100% completed now, minus the gravel. So I guess 99% done. So the gravel has to go in the front here, or like the whole shed, but through the front here. So there's a mat that has to be laid down, and then there's about 2 feet of gravel at the back and about a foot here at the front. And there'll always be a space from the bottom of the tin to the gravel, and that's to let it air out the hay that's in here. So it's good to be done that. The electrical is pretty much done in here. It's been done for a while. So I didn't X frame. There doesn't really have to be an X, but there can be an X there. But I've left that for a future door down the line. We'll just cut the tin back, and then there'll be a door there. Otherwise, I probably would have put X's in it, but it'll be fine like that. The sides are the most critical for the X bracing anyways. They prevent the shed from going like this, because that front gable is a big sail. So if the wind comes up and pushes on the front of the shed, the roof will want to go back like this. So that's why the crosses in the walls. Yeah, you don't need them code-wise if you use 2x6 on the walls. But these are 2x4 purlings. So I think the corners are required for sure. And I think it's every second one. I did every one. The extra 10 2x4s it took, I'd rather have the extra bracing in the walls. And I braced it up top like you would if you didn't put tin on the walls and you didn't have the purlings. There's knee braces in this shed. The knee braces are optional if you put an interior wall in and a ceiling. There's no ceiling in this shed, so I put knee braces in. I think the knee braces should be required on an open front because they help with the lift off. If the wind comes in here and starts pulling up on the shed, the knee braces help with that, and they help with the side load. So there you can see the dirt floor still. The baler's in here with the big tractor. All 3 tractors are in here. So again, there's the west wall. It's got the X brace all the way back, and it's got the upper braces to the 2x10 double beam. They're 8-foot spans. You could use 2x12 or LVL beams, but you just start adding on the cost. Since the trusses land on the posts pretty much, and you're only carrying the truss load for one truss, a double 2x10 is fine. If these trusses didn't land on the posts, or it's like really close, within 6 inches of the post, I think, then you'd have to up your beam or your header. You could, the trusses have to be changed. Sometimes they're doubles, sometimes it's just the webbing in the truss. You can do 8-foot centers on a hay shed where you don't have the 4-foot truss between. But in my opinion, it's kind of a little bit sketchy You have to change how, instead of laying them flat up top, the 2x4s flat up top, they have to go vertically, and then you have to brace between vertically as well. I have lots of wind bracing in this roof anyways. It's a little bit overdone. There's no ceiling on it though, so you have to take that into account. If you put a ceiling on here, paneled ceiling like drywall or OSB or some other type of panel, you wouldn't need as much wind bracing, but there's nothing on that bottom cord other than the 2x4 bracing. So there's 2 extra runs of wrap boards in here to accommodate not having a bottom ceiling. If you were to put a bottom ceiling in and insulate it, you could delete the other 2 runs. The angle braces are all done. They've been done for a while. That's to pick up the corners, tie the roof in. So these are 2x4 centers. Again, these are 2x4 centers along the wall. You can go with 2, if you're using 2x6s for your wall, you can go 3 feet instead of 2 feet. 2x4 is either 16 inches or 24 inches. Again, that's why I have the extra crosses in the walls. The roof by code only has to be it's a 1x material. I can't remember if it's 1x4 or 1x6. I think that's sketchy, so I put 2x4s up there right away. Since the trusses are only 4 feet apart, they're just laid flat. If they're 8 feet apart, they have to be stood vertically and nailed differently. So it's good to get this done, minus the gravel. I have 2x8, it's just economy boards running along the perimeter walls. It stiffens the bottom of it up. The concrete will stiffen it up. These posts are all 4+ feet in the ground. Some of them are 5 feet in the ground. So you do have a lot of sway control on the hay sheds with the posts being so far in the ground. This definitely does help, but this is to prevent it from when you're pushing on the bale with a loader from getting at the beams and getting at the back tin. So obviously you can still push hard enough, you can break the 2x8s, but it'll at least slow you down. Another thing that's not required is I always frame my corners, even on the small sheds. I think it stiffens them up and ties in the corners a little bit better, because especially on a large shed like this with no interior walls and no interior ceiling, that post is got this way and this way. Now the roof is going to help it this way, but this way it's on its own. So these are laminated 2x6 posts. 1, they're cheaper. 2, they're straighter. And the reason they're cheaper is because once you're out of the ground, you can go with whitewood and it doesn't have to be treated the whole way. And it's near impossible, at least around here, to find 22-foot 6x6 posts. And if you do, you're paying a ton of money for them. These are laminated. If the shed was any bigger, it would be a better idea to use 2x8s and laminate them. This is 40x60. Code-wise, 3 2x6s screwed together. These are screwed and glued. I don't think they have to be glued. These ones happen to be. So they have a little bit of extra strength. Anyways, that's the hay shed. Maybe when we gravel it, we'll show a video. We're going to try and use both tractors to push the gravel in here, the Polaris and the Massey. And then we got to do an approach at the same time down in the north end, because I got to drill a well out there in a couple months, because I had some trouble with the well out here last year. This is 2x10 triple header for the door. This is just a door that we stitched together with 2x4 and tin. The header depends who you talk to. I wanted a header. It probably doesn't have to be a triple. It's not carrying any weight. It's solely just keeping the posts apart if there is some wind movement, so it doesn't pinch the door. you probably could have got away with a 2x6 header. It's not really carrying any load. It's just I had 2x10 laying around that were a few short pieces from the tool shed from 3 or 4 years ago when we built it. The floor in it, all the joists are 2x10 treated, and then the floor itself isn't, the subfloor isn't OSB or plywood, it's 2x10 laid flat. So anyways, that's a rundown of the Hayshed construction. I don't want to go too much in depth with too much in case somebody's trying to build a Hayshed using this video. This isn't really a how to build a Hayshed, this is how we built it. There's all sorts of codes that vary from region to region, Canada to the States. It's the wind, it's the snow, it's everything, so you have to take all that into account for your location. This will pass for where we're located. 2 hours away from here, it may not. You might, if you go to the south, you'll have less snow, so your roof can be done a little bit lighter. You go to the north, you'll have more snow. Your roof may have to be beefed up. I'm not familiar with what's going on in them areas. I only know what it is around here within about a 30-minute radius, and this is pretty much it. So that's it.